Come on and smoke a bowl with me. Take a tour with me now, down the Santa Susana Pass. I got lots of family knowledge, and I'm stoned off my ass. I'm the spawn ranch worker, and it fits me to a T. If you want some family conversation, come on and smoke the bowl with me. Stoner Van Houten.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Stoner Van Houten Show. It is January 18th, 2019. On today's show, we're going to talk about Tex Watson. That's right, my friends. We're going to talk about Tex Watson and his children. That's right. I don't know if you guys know this, but while incarcerated over these years, Tex Watson's been incarcerated since, I believe, 1970? Since 1970 until now. Tex Watson has conceived 4 children while being incarcerated. That's right. Tex Watson, after killing Sharon Tate and Vortex Verkowski and Jay Sebring and Stephen Parent and Abigail Folgers and Lino LaBianca and Rosemary LaBianca, went to prison. And of course, you guys may know that he got heavily involved into the church. He's a pastor now. I don't really believe all that shit, but he's a pastor now of a church and everything. He's gotten a lot of privileges through the ministry. So he's a pastor now, and through the ministry is really what's helped him gain a lot of privileges in prison. I don't know if you guys know this, but you guys were all thinking, oh, Charles Manson is a horrible person and he needs to be tortured and all this stuff, and yay, Charles Manson's dead now. You're probably all thinking, oh, great, he's dead. It's all good. We don't have to spend our tax money on Charlie Manson anymore. Wow. Well, what you don't realize is, first of all, Manson never killed anybody. He didn't order anyone to be killed. And the person that killed everybody over drugs is Tex Watson, and he's been living an actually rather good life, a rather good life in prison. Maybe not the best, but better than probably most inmates. He got married. He fathered 4 children. He became a pastor of a church. He gets, a little bit more privileges than the average inmate because of the ministry. And he has his own web page, the ministry web page that he has. You can listen to all of his testimonies and stuff like that. So he's got the ministry web page, and through the ministry, they help him with stuff. Like recently, he was in Mule Creek Prison, and they moved him down to Donovan Prison down in San Diego. And the reason they moved him down there is that's where his family lives. He has 4 children, and you can see all 4 of them right here. There's all 4 of them in this picture, and there's 3 of them right here. You have Ben Watson, Mary Watson, and Josh Watson. And look at Josh. Josh looks exactly like his dad. And then you have his 4th son named Jake. Jake is the youngest. And then you have another picture here of Josh Watson with his wife and their kids. So now Tex Watson's got grandkids. Mary, that you see in the middle here, who just look how great looking she looks. She recently just had a child as well. So Tex Watson has got 4 kids, 4 grandkids. He gets visits every weekend. They moved him down to Donovan State Prison so he could be closer to his family. They can come visit. They live in San Diego. And I don't think a lot of you realize how well Tex Watson has had it in prison, because you've been focusing so much on Charles Manson and Charles Manson and Charles Manson this and Charles Manson that. And now Charlie died. Oh my God. On November 19th, 2017. You're like, oh my God, yay, the devil's dead. Oh my God, we're free. We can all unlock our doors now. And yay, you guys are all dancing in the streets because Manson's dead. When really, that's a false celebration. Because the guy that did everything, and the reason that all those people are dead, is because of Tex Watson and his antics running around Hollywood. That guy is living great in California off the taxpayers' money. Good health benefits, good teeth. He's a pastor. He gets special privileges. The ministry helps him out. He's fathered 4 beautiful children. Look at his children. Jake's on this one. I don't have a separate picture of Jake, but Jake's on this one on the bottom. And is it on the bottom there? Oh no, excuse me, he's right here. Mary, Josh, Ben, and then you have Jake. There's the dad. And look at Josh. Look, he looks like a really young Tex Watson. I mean, he looks the most like his dad. It's actually rather scary how he looks exactly like his dad. So while you guys are all celebrating in the street over Charlie dying, the real killer and the guy who was behind everything with his bad drug deals, Tex Watson, fathering 4 beautiful children. He has 4 grandchildren now. He gets visits every weekend. The grandchildren and the children in the waiting room together with Grandpa Watson. Oh, look, it's Grandpa Watson, and they're sitting in the waiting room, and he's hugging and kissing his children and the grandkids. He's having a great weekend. While you guys are doing what you're doing on the weekends, thinking, oh, yay, Manson's dead, yay. You don't realize the real killer, he's having a great time. He's got people visiting him, putting money on his books, getting him packages every month, every quarter. You know, Tex Watson has had actually a very good life in prison, okay? Yes, he's had some little prison problems, just like any inmate, because he's been in there for so long. You know, of course he's had some problems and some run-ins with other inmates, and I believe he was even stabbed twice. He got beat up a couple times. I think he got stabbed once or twice. You know, so he's gone through his regular prison stuff that anyone would go through. You don't need to be a high-profile person to go through that shit. That's just the way prison is. It's just full of drama. But after all that, I mean, he's doing great. And the one person who you think would be so pissed off would have been Doris Tate. Like, oh my God. Like, you know, the Tate family is so worried about, like, Leslie Van Houten getting out or Bobby or Bruce Davis. It's like, wait a minute. Tex is fathering kids. He's going to have conjugal visits. You know, he's getting his sex on and fucking having kids and pumping out kids. And you guys weren't complaining about that? Oh my God, we can't let Charlie have a visit or Leslie can't get out. But apparently Tex Watson, who murders everybody, he can have beautiful children. Look at his children. They're beautiful. Finally, Doris Tate put a stop to it. Finally, the Tate family said, all right, Tex, none of that shit. But it was too late. It was too late. He already fathered 4 children. Why didn't Doris Tate get mad after he fathered the first one? Why didn't she try to shut it down after the first one? God damn it, you're not going to have any more kids. He pumped out 3 more kids. Finally, Doris Tate got all those visitations and shit cut off for him. But it was too late. He already had 4 children. So Tex Watson, let me just tell you now, every weekend, sits in the visiting room with his kids and his grandkids, and they call him, you know, Grandpa Watson, and he's right there with everybody, and it's rather nice. And his children know, and they're fine with it. Everything's great. And he's going to be living out the rest of his days, you know, getting visitations, and he'll be fine. He's never coming out of prison, but that doesn't mean his life's going to be misery and all that stuff. As a matter of fact, it's actually going to be better than most inmates' lives in there. It's relatively the same, but because of the past that he's a pastor and he's a part of the industry stuff, they get him somewhat little more, you know, a little bit more privileges than the rest. So his life is very good, and it's all on the taxpayers of California. So all you taxpayers of California, you think, okay, Charlie's dead. Okay, my taxpayers aren't going to the cult leader. Well, first of all, your tax dollars were never going to a cult leader because he's not a cult leader, number one. He's not a monster. He's not, you know, this magician that has special powers. I don't know why you guys believe that. It's like a lot of you go to Vegas and you don't even believe a hypnotist, let alone, but you think Charles Manson had special power that he can. Come on, man. When you go to Vegas, you really believe that hypnotist shit? No, you don't. But you want to believe Manson had special power. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking morons. So let me just explain to you once again, especially for the people of California. For the people of California, let me explain this to you. Every time you pay taxes on something, guess what? Some of that money is going right to Tex Watson. To take care of him medically, do his laundry, pay for his food, pay for anything he needs. Will be paid for by the taxpayers of California. And he is in really good shape. I've seen a recent picture of him. He looks good. He looks like he could probably live, another 15 years. No problem. And he's in his 70s, and he looks like easily he could go. He could live well into his 80s. Easy. He's in good shape. He looks good. So, just want to let you know, this is Tex Watson's family here. This is what he's produced in prison. This is the great life he has in prison, all on the California's taxpayers' dollar. So I want you to remember that. Just because Manson's dead doesn't mean that the guy who killed everybody is dead. That's not true. Manson didn't do anything. He was just there being a part of what was going on and didn't bother to tell anybody and kept his mouth shut, which is probably the downfall of him. He could have, if he really wanted to, he could have went to the police and said, hey man, my friend killed somebody and blah, 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 blah. But, the code thing and everything. That little prison code thing. See, the one thing that I don't understand is he's stuck by this prison code. But he's free. You're not in prison. The prison code only works if you're in prison. That's why it's the prison code. Because you're in prison. When you're free, that shit doesn't matter. And they tell you that in prison, even to this day. When you're in prison, the first thing they tell you is, just remember now, you're not on the streets anymore. You're in here now. There's different rules. Okay. But just remember, when I'm free now and I'm not in prison and there's different rules. I don't have to live by the prison standards when I'm free. And I think that might have been one of the big downfalls of Manson, is that code may have come back to bite him in the ass a little bit. All right. So this is Stoner Van Houten here talking to you about Tex Watson's 4 children. Josh, Ben, Mary, and Jake. Jake being the youngest one. Jake is Jake's actually the coolest one, to tell you the truth. He is an organic farmer in San Diego, and yes, he does grow marijuana. So good for Jake. All right, take care. Stoner Van Houten here. I'm out of here. I hope you enjoyed this video.